Hi everyone, I have come to the beach. Any excuse. I thought I'd just do a little video for you about limpets because of my book. Look, Lily's come with me to the beach. The reason for that, I've been taking some pictures for Instagram and what have you, and she's got a little bit of seaweed on her. This was my, what's the word? Proof copy. So I'm happy to use her for photos and take the risk of her getting a bit seawatery and seaweedy because it won't be the only time that will happen. Anyway, it's a lovely day, a bit windy but otherwise lovely, and yeah, I just thought I'd show you some rock pools and talk to you a little bit about why I wrote the book and, you know, limpets basically. Anyway, there's some lovely rock pools here. It's very seaweedy. I wonder whether that's because of it's the end of the summer and it's all had a chance to grow with all the sun. I have no idea, but yeah, an awful lot of seaweed. And I'm stood just right by a rock pool here. I stupidly wore flip-flops given that this beach is a shingle beach and a bit rocky, but there we are. So here is a limpet on this rock here. You find them attached to rocks. This guy has got a bit of seaweed stuck to him or her. Let's see if we can find any more. There's usually tons and tons of them around. Let's have a little look. There's these big boulder type rocks. I'm just going to leave my coat in a rock pool. Oh, let's chuck it there. Right, okay, that'll be fine. So let's see, let's have an explore. Shout if you spot one. Oh, there's one. There's a nice uncovered one. Look. So some are big, some are small. This one has a bug coming around the corner. Hello, bug. This one you can see has kind of made a mark in the rock, which is called a scar. These are barnacles around it. Now, when I studied marine biology, a lot of my friends really liked things like dolphins and tropical fish and what have you. And my thing was always more like all this stuff that's just kind of rock covered and where you have to get in close. It's not spectacular, but you have to kind of look and discover and find out who's living in the pools and explore and uncover. These guys, you see them everywhere, and you'd think that they're not very exciting. Oh look, there's another limpet just nearby. But they actually have really interesting ecology, really interesting things about their life. So that's really why I wanted to start writing what I hope will become a series, but initially it is Lily the Limpet. It's part of a series called Seaside Stories, but we'll see how it goes. So with limpets, they start out as plankton, so they'd be out in the sea, drifting about, and then they settle onto a rock. They live in the intertidal zone and shallow water, so where there's lots of light and nutrients and things. So that little plankton will settle on its rock, and then it grows, and it grows to fit the rock that it's on, so its shell is perfectly shaped, as I say, to the point where it will actually make a mark in the rock because it always comes back to the same spot. And this guy, I mean, they're really hard to get off. You can get them off. Some people use them as bait and things, but I wouldn't advise it. It's going to hurt them to take that off of the rock, but I mean, it's not easy. So they stick down tight because they want to keep all of that seawater inside, because they're sea creatures. They need seawater to survive. So if they dried out, it would be a problem. So when the sea's out, like it is today, it's all the way out, it's low tide, the limpet sticks down tight. Now in here is another thing that I talk about in the book. It's an anemone, and there's an anemone living on the rock that Lily lives on. And it looks like just a squish of jelly because it's uncovered, but when the water comes up, it will stick its tentacles out. I'll see if I can find any, but the tide's out, so I'm not going to hold my breath about that. Look at this view. Sorry, I just had to stop a minute. This beautiful rock pool. Oh, it's so lovely. Sea air does your power good too. Look at that. Right, I'm trying to look for a limpet that's underwater, but I don't see any. Hello limpet friends, I want to talk about you. There's loads here, sorry, excuse my shadow. But this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and loads of little barnacles too. None of them are underwater. There's this fella too. You see, they're really common. If you go to a beach in the UK, or well, lots of other places too. Sorry if you can hear my squelchy flip-flops I've got wet. You'll find loads, absolutely loads. Look here. How many have we got all together? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this fella, this is probably the best I can get of one that's underwater. This one here, only just covered. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but he moved slightly when I touched him. They don't stick down so tight because they don't need to. If you're really lucky, I've only ever seen it once, and I didn't see one move away from its scar, but I did see it kind of move and spin around. Well, not spin around, not like pirouetting or anything, but like turn slightly. So what happens is when they're covered by water, which, you know, this guy isn't quite, so I don't blame him for staying put, they'll crawl about. They're a type of snail. So they'll, you know, as you imagine with other snails, they'll kind of slither about, really. And they have a tongue called a radula, and it has these teeth on it. And in fact, the stuff that the teeth is made out of is possibly the strongest natural substance known to man, which is quite impressive. He's definitely got a little bit of give in him, if I push him. And so it'll move around and go and eat when it's safe, when the water's in, which is another thing that I talk about in Lily, and a key part of the plot. And she goes off to find some food. So that, yeah, that's another thing that they do. Now, if they, look at my shadow. If they come across a predator, so something like a starfish, something that eats limpets, then they can do something which I believe is called mushrooming. I don't know if that's actually like the technical scientific term, but that's what I've heard of it as. But they'll lift up, and they lift up their shell. So I'm just giving you some nice views while I talk. They lift up their shell and stamp on whatever creature it is. You think they're not up to much, but they do. They crawl about, they stamp on things, they go around with their rough tongue, and they have this amazing thing where they just come back to the same place all of the time. And you know, that's the whole principle behind Lily the Limpet Gets Lost, because her home is something very important. It's the only place her shell will fit, because that's where she's grown to fit. So if you're interested in Lily the Limpet, you want to take a bit more of a look, you can look on my website, and you can look on Amazon. It's available for pre-order until the 12th. I'm going to have a whole series on my channel that's all about how I put them together, in case you're thinking of doing the same kind of thing. I just want to tell us all that stuff. And go and check it out if you'd like to, and let me know what you think. I'd obviously really appreciate the reviews and the support and the comments. Let me know what your favourite sea creature is. Please comment below what's your favourite, and I look forward to seeing you all again for my next video soon. Take care. Also, I almost forgot to say, there is a competition running on my Facebook and Instagram pages. Do go and check those out. You are in with a chance of winning a print from the book, and the artwork is gorgeous. So it's a print of one of the beautiful pieces of artwork by Evgenia. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely. So head over to my Facebook and Instagram. Those are in the links below, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Take care. See you.